Hey y'all, I'm back. And again with the quality, I'm sorry. I know it's bad. But in this video, it is going to be another Bible study type video, I guess. And I'm just going to talk about why God allows suffering. And I just first want to start off reading this scripture. It's Romans 3:23. And it says, "For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God." So, that is saying every person on this earth but Jesus is a sinner. If your preacher says he does not sin, he is incorrect. Everyone sins. No questions asked. And so, that's a scripture we need to keep in mind because every person sins. So, of course, sin is not good, sin is bad. So, keep that in the back of your mind. Okay, so, and I'm just going to read this. This is Genesis chapter 1, verse 31. "And God saw everything that he made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day." So in that scripture right there, it says that God created everything to be good. Everything. He did not create evil. He did not, everything is good. So people were asked, they're like, okay, how does the evil come about? How did the sin? How did the things like that happen? And I want to read John 16:33, and it says, "These things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace in the world. And ye shall have tribulations, but be good of cheer. I have overcome the world." So that is saying, that was Jesus who was speaking, and he is saying that that you're going to have tribulations no matter what, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're going to have tribulations in your life, but he is going to bring you peace over that. So right there you're saying, okay, well, if God is saying everything was good, then why is he going to allow tribulations and things like that to happen? And so that is where I want to, break in and say, where does sin come from? Where does that come from? Like, why do bad things happen? And I just lost my train of thought. Oh, why God allows bad things happen? Sin. The reason why sin slipped its way in, or God made the potential for sin to be able to get in, was whenever he created humans to have free will. And he first created angels to have free will. So he gave them free will. By free will, I mean he gave them the option to love him or to go against him. He didn't want to have robots. He didn't want, it to be like robots where he controlled everybody and everything. He gave us the choice to have free will. He gave us the choice to accept him or to turn against him. And that's what he did with the devil was once an angel. So he gave the angels the free will, and the devil turned against him, and that is where the evil and the sin came in. So with people, even as people, he gave us the free will to choose him or to turn away from him. And so that is where the sin slipped in. The sin slipped in at is because he gave us the free will. So I can choose to love him, or I can choose to go against him. I could choose to be saved and go to heaven, or I could choose to, just live a worldly life and, end up in hell. And so that is how the sin slipped in, per se. And now I want to talk about why he allows suffering then. And in Romans 8:28 it says, "And we know that all things work together for the good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose." So everything in life happens for a reason. Everything, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. There's always a silver lining. And in Romans 8:18 it says, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." So that is saying, we have no idea, the things that are happening on this earth, they will be repaid in bigger blessings in heaven. And so it says in 1 Corinthians 2:9, "But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him." So it's saying, we don't know what God has in plan for us. We don't know why bad things happen now and the future. We don't know what happens. We don't know why bad things happen. And it says in Romans 8:28, it says that it works together for the good. So we don't understand now why things happen. We don't know why, but the reason why sometimes suffering or bad things happen is because the person needs change. Like if someone is so stubborn and they think a certain way and they have a child with a disability, they have to learn to love and interact with that child and has to change. If someone has a disease, they have to change their lifestyle to a certain way. And that's with many things. If a death, things need to change, and my grandmother, this year on the 18th of August she has been gone for a year. And I could not understand for the life of me why, I'm a Christian and I still question God, like, why did my grandmother have to get taken away? And shortly after my mama passed away, we found out that my papa had cancer. And I knew, I was thinking to myself that my grandmother, she's a strong woman, but because she had taken that, like she was already, weak and ill. And so I believe that is why the Lord took her so early, is because something like this, it would have broken her down. And, later on to see my grandfather did pass in April, but it's like we don't understand why. I could not understand why. Like, why did my grandmother have to go? And I'm a Christian, and that's the thing, is I didn't know the silver lining at the end. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and I stand by that 100%, because this last year has been hectic for me. I've had sickness, I've had death, I've had found people like cancer, and it literally tore me apart. But because of it, I am a stronger woman than I am now than I was a year ago. So that's what I have to say with this. The reason why God allows suffering is because there needs a change. Something's got to change, something's got to give. And the Lord is going to show you something. Everything is for the good. So anything He does in your life, it's not just to poke fun or be mean. It's for the better outcome for you. And anything that happens in Corinthians 2:9, it says, but as it is written, but as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear hath near heard, neither have entered into the heart of the man the things which God hath prepared for them that love Him. We don't know what God's going to do. So I honestly believe the reason why God allows suffering is because we need to change. Something needs to change. Something's got to, give at some point. The reason why things happen. And so the way evil came in was because God gave us free will, and the reason why God allows suffering is for change, and it's all for the better good of the person. So if anybody can think of anything I can do next, my next topic, or anything you want me to look up, research, any questions, anything, you can comment them below. And I'll also put the scriptures that I read. I'll read from the King James Version Bible, but I'll put those below too. And y'all have a great night, and God bless every one of y'all.